What's up, everybody? I'm Senior Doom, and today we're going over the latest PTCGL update. We're going to go over a little bit about the visuals, we're going to go over a little bit about the changes, and we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and what we possibly want to see more coming from this. The first obvious thing we can see with this is they've changed both most of the colors and the tilt of the entire board. The tilt now is at a three quarters, which is way more similar to what most card games use. It used to be more of a flat style where everything was flat and presented in an area where you can see it. But now with a 3/4 angle, we get a better view of the board. It actually gives the developers more space. As you can kind of see, if I draw in some lines here, now your board area is more rectangular. So now you have a little bit more area over here and over here. So you can have like your extra elements, which we can see already. We can see those extra elements are over here. Like we have our timers, our V-star counters, and the end turn button, which I'm not a big fan of the end turn button being over here. But the reason why it's there is I'm believing is dealing with the cross development with mobile, and they need it somewhere where it's not easily pressed by a thumb. So I'm not a fan of it being there. But it is enough out of the way as a user-friendly kind of thing that it's going to not be accidentally clicked. I'm assuming most people who play PTCGO have clicked end turn like one too many times, and you're just like, well, damn it, I didn't want to end that turn. Like I've done it myself. It's like misclicking an attack as well. But having that right over here makes sense. I would prefer it here as a personal thing, but I'm not going to sit here and complain more about it. Other things that you're seeing that have changed. The first thing is the most obvious is now we're seeing full card arts. We're no longer seeing just simple card arts. We're seeing everything there. But there is a little bit of a problem with that though still, and the most quick and easiest one to point out is this card is still facing you. Now if you've played the game, you know the card doesn't face you unless it's confused. And this I could see causing issues with people trying to play the IRL game between the online game, and they're going to be, okay, I see this, why isn't it confused? And they'll have like a token or a marker or something else to indicate that it's confused. But in the game, the card's physical state matters, and they're not translating that very well. And this does need to be changed. You could keep the number, the 60 HP, you could keep that vertical like this, but you do need to have it flipped. Other big changes we see, the wider board state here. We have a lot more dead. I'm not going to say dead space. We have a lot more negative space in this area and this area. Now there could actually be multiple reasons for that. There could be just they're having spacing issues. There could be other game modes they are working on that we might not know about. So if leaving that area wide open, you can easily do like a 3-on-3 battle, which is kind of a little archetype I've seen running around. It's usually played with 3 players. We could do it more. It's a little bit more interesting. It's something to do that. It could easily be anything else. Like you could easily put your V-star markers. We don't see a stadium in play. This state here does not tell us what a stadium is. So you could easily have stadiums in play here, and your played supporter right there for turn. So until we see more of the game in action from what the little clip we've gotten, I can't tell you what these negative spaces are being used for. They could be used for absolutely nothing. I don't know. So whatever that is, I'm hoping there's something more to it. I do love the inclusion here of the Pokeball. That really gives that sense more, a little bit more. And if they're able to add the Pokeball to this, I want to see more customizable backgrounds. I would love to see the ability to come through here and have different little things, but no longer the way it used to be, where it was like kind of like separated and had all these weird animations going behind it. Now they're more subtle, and it makes a little bit more sense. I really hope they add in the ability to unstack your cards. I am not a fan of having my cards stacked. Some people might be, but having that as just a simple click box is something I think they should be able to do. There's nothing that says they have to have it that way. I'm not sure how I feel yet still about the 6 prizes being dealt out this way versus the way we do it physically. That comes back to card states and, like, you know, we got the confused Remoraid here. It becomes a disconnect to your IRL players, especially with their discard kind of being on the outside versus the inside, or even just stacked on top of each other. Like, if you look at the official game mats, everything they have has the discard below the deck. Some of them have it flipped, but having it there and with the discard pile to the right feels a little awkward, and you're starting to lose that. You get a little bit of that disconnect from people who play the IRL game, or may have played the IRL game and then come into this and not seeing that setup. Maybe there's more customization options coming. That would be great. But otherwise, it feels awkward where it is. I can take or leave the prizes like this. Again, like, if you're trying to bring in IRL people, I think you still want to replicate that experience as much as you can without worry about it. Let's see what else. One of the other biggest changes we've seen is to the visuals itself, and I am not going to say it's actually a step forward. I'm saying it's a step to the side. It's not better, it's glitzier. The first thing that stands out to me that irritates me the most, this. There is no reason for those to be shiny. They stand out texture-wise. They have a gleam to them that the other parts that should have gleams to it don't have. I don't know if it's a leftover from some other part of it, but visually it makes me feel like Windows XP. And anything that feels like Windows XP to me is, well, it's ancient, it's old, and this game shouldn't be. It's not very well put there. And then on top of it, I've not been a big fan of the Hexagons, but I actually get where the Hexagons come from. I was using Pokemon Home recently, and I realized there's a lot of Hexagons in there, and there's a lot of Hexagons used in Sword and Shield, so I get where those are coming from. And it's trying to maintain that this is a Pokemon game whilst, you know, still keeping it as a Pokemon game. But this kind of weird board state with its perspective, it's kind of off to me. Like, you could still come in with the hexagon shape, and maybe have it better. Like, let's use a pen tool real quick. Maybe more like, and it skews the quickness of this. More like that, with where it encompasses more of the board state than what we're already seeing. So it feels like a side grade to me, and I still don't know if they have an art direction on this, or if there's mandates or style guides or anything else that's dictating what's going on here that we don't know about. And also, on top of that, some of the graphics don't look finished. Here, if you come in here where the cards are, it just looks like a giant block. There's no shadowing or anything to indicate that there's any sort of separation between these. That could be an early graphics thing. It might not have implemented yet. They might still be working on it. I'm not going to worry too much about that. That part becomes a nitpick. We do have, it looks like, a chat feature over here, so that's nice and out of the way. It might even be hiding the avatars. I'm actually quite glad the avatars are gone. They were overly distracting. So we are seeing a good step forward with a lot of this, and it does actually seem like TPCI is listening, and hopefully they're listening to this as well. I think their art direction needs more more of an art direction and less of a Windows XP look to it. I mean, you can also even see here, I'm almost thinking like when the game animates, goes into a game, there's a separation here from this side to this side, and it kind of comes in and like closes in on each other. So it might be why they have that hexagon there. It needs a little bit more work. So it has the potential, and maybe we'll see more. Like I'm feel better about the game now. Let's see them back it up. That's the biggest thing.